force it to love me. But that's not true love, is it? True love is something that we do. See, we have a privilege of serving God with gladness because we want to. Right? One day we're going to be delivered from all this. The power, the presence, of sin in our life. We're going to be delivered from the very presence of it. Then you no longer have that opportunity like you do now. You understand what I'm saying? This is a unique opportunity in life, isn't it? Right now, you make the choice. I'm not going to fellowship with the saints. You walk away. You make the choice. I don't want God's will for my life. And you walk away from it. You make the choice. God, I'm going to serve you with all my days. You make the choice. And he says, He comforts us in all our tribulations, that we may be able to comfort them which are in any trouble by the comfort where we ourselves are comforted of God. For as the sufferings of Christ abound in us, so our consolation also abounds by Christ. You know, one thing I have found that through the afflictions that I've gone through in my own personal life, the gold nugget that I see now, I didn't see it when I was in it, was how I'm able to help people. There's something about being in the trenches that makes you compassionate to others who are in the trenches. Now, what I am not saying is, you've got to be an alcoholic to minister to alcoholics. So, go do what you need to do, saints. Get hooked on crack so you can minister. That's not what it's all about. The Holy Spirit's the minister.
Yes.
You're the vessel. But what I am saying, there's something about when we go through a difficult time, that when you see somebody else going through that, you can slip your arm around them and say, brother, sister, you just need to have more faith. No. You can say with compassion, you can say, hey brother, I'm praying for you. Is there anything I can do for you? God gets the maximum out of every situation. You might be the one in trouble, but He's using other people to come forth to help you in order to do things in their lives. Right? God works the whole thing to the maximum. Verse 6, and whether we be afflicted, it's for your consolation and salvation. Paul had a pretty good idea about affliction, didn't he? He says, if we're afflicted, it's so that we can help you. That is just a foreign idea. That is so foreign to human beings. When we get afflicted, we complain. We murmur, we complain. Paul says, I'm not going to let anything deter me. When afflictions come my way, I'm going to see what God's doing in it. And part of what God was doing in the afflictions here for the Corinthians was He was able to have compassion on them, which is effectual in the enduring of the same sufferings which we also suffer. Or whether we be comforted, it's for your consolation and salvation. And our hope of you is steadfast, knowing that as you are partakers of the sufferings, so shall you also be of the consolation. So think about this idea, and it might seem a little weird, but think about it. Next time trouble comes knocking on your door, comes to visit you without an invitation, you might just say, God, how's your comfort going to come through this? Maybe it's an unsaved relative, a son or daughter that's not walking with the Lord. Instead of just going around telling everybody, hey, my son, he's not walking with Jesus anymore. Next person, my son, he's not with the Lord anymore. Start praying and start saying, God, thank you for your consolation. God, I thank you that you're going to use all these things to get to my son. That you're going to use the good, the bad, and the ugly to get to my son. For I know your plan for him is one of peace. Start to change the way you think about these things, about affliction and trouble. And then to finish it off, he says, for we would not, brethren, have you ignorant of our trouble, which came to us in Asia. See, Paul didn't mind sharing about his trouble. That we were pressed out of measure. There's that word pressed. Above strength, insomuch that we despaired even of life. We had the sentence of death in ourselves, and we should not trust in ourselves, but in God, which raises the dead, who delivered us from so great a death, and does deliver, and in whom we trust will yet deliver us. Paul is saying there, this sentence of death in ourselves, through this affliction, through these mighty troubles and trials that came his way, Paul learned from it that it's so that we might not trust in ourselves. Have you ever gotten into trouble and then you say, I'm going to work it out?